I'm gonna come back with one video, and then I'm gonna take this one in. But what I wanted to say, the reason I made the last video about like what's possible and what's cool, what's magical, what's life, and also I made the video before that about like school buses, is that I want to say that some things, some of the most beautiful things, even musical instrument, they have a history that is a little bit darker than you can appreciate on the surface, and it's a little bit more it's a little bit different than you would appreciate, and it actually may account for a lot of people's experiences around things, and also their lack of experiences around things. So you imagine like a guitar, right? Like I'm holding a guitar right now. Now, right now, I have access to guitars ostensibly on the surface. Now, I'd have to go through a lot of hell, and still be in hell. It can be appreciated to have the standpoint to have privacy, shelter, stable environment, opportunity, leisure, an instrument, and a breather from all the duties that are put upon us. Are these duties? You have a duty to pay your rent, right? So you're righteous to pay your rent, right? You take a life and death chances to pay your rent, right? So you can sit down on the earth, right? With a building that's been made by what's been taken from the earth, right? But other people took labors to put that building together, learning to engineer that, and then resources to have the rights to that, the privilege to that, the advantage to that, the authority to that, the property of that. Other people ostensibly took labors and efforts, right? But you have a duty. That's your duty to pay for that, right? That's only right. So we're past like we have separation of church and state. We're past feudalism, right? But we have people in our phone calling themselves a landlord with these leases that we sign that are like doctrines, like blood oaths, like arcane, like that you would take a scribe to write that type of stuff even in the modern age, and damn near take a disciple or a scholar or another scribe to read it intelligibly, or spend a hell of a lot of money to go to law school to just have a clue of the most basic stupid stuff that it's talking about in there, right? You have all that, but you're calling them a lord, a landlord, and it's your righteous duty and privilege to give them what meager finance you have, um, so that they can give you a breather. But but that's your duty, right? Or is it their is it not their are you not just simply coughing up what you have so that they can enjoy themselves? Are you not just extending yourself, disenfranchising yourself to put them in a better position to enjoy a lot of what they've already enjoyed for a long time and more of it? Are you not just simply lining them up to maybe overindulge to the point that it's not healthy for them? Is it a duty, or is it just a is it a shakedown? Is it a duty or a shakedown? Now, it's similar where like you think you're doing this righteous thing by paying to live, or but so all I meant to say is that it's more difficult to have the standpoint and the opportunity to access an instrument than it would seem. It's more difficult to have the resources and standpoint to access a teacher than it would seem. It's more difficult to have the opportunity to engage and spend time around and procure a resource for learning the guitar or an instrument than it would seem. It's more difficult to upload, to conceive music on those terms from that approach with those values than it would seem. Then it's more difficult to upload that music to be enjoyed by other people than it would seem. You undertake to learn an instrument. That's one part of the history. All it would take just to have the standpoint and opportunity to engage an instrument and have a little degree of understanding to potentially enjoy it, because it is still about enjoy it, right? But then you engage one of these teachers, right? And it takes a good amount of courage just to step up to undergo to learn about an instrument, but it also takes humility to not have experience around an instrument, to have that much, you can sense you might have talent or ability because you've had ideas or you've had just romance about the instrument. It takes a good deal it takes more of living to get to the point of putting your hands on a guitar and picking one up. It's heavier to pick up a guitar than it would seem if you think about what it gets to have the confidence and the standpoint to do so. Then with that amount of potential interest and passion, yet you don't appreciate yourself as being a guitar player yet at that point, you have to be very humble to engage a teacher like that. And the juxtaposition, the contrast of sitting next to someone who can do a lot of stuff that would seem fancy on a guitar in front of you. But does it sound that cool when they do the fancy stuff? Does it really sound that cool? Or does it sound more so sophisticated and it sounds complex and sophisticated, but does it really move you when you hear a guitar teacher impress you? Because some of impressing you is part of keeping you as a student and therefore getting some of your resources. Impressing you is part of that, but does it move you is the question. Then you come through all that and you stick around that long enough to get your own confidence back because you gave them your confidence by submitting yourself as a student. You get your confidence back, and now you have confidence enough to maybe write music, play music even alone, then publicly. But did you yet get to enjoy yourself? I would say you didn't necessarily need all that, and some of that could have been exactly what you didn't need to get to the point of enjoying yourself. Because remember, it's playing the guitar. It's not necessarily studying the guitar, understanding the guitar, manipulating the guitar, though it can be that, but it had been play the guitar, play. So the music actually sounds cooler when you're playing with it because it's more, you're more creative when you're playing. Nothing's more creative than some children at a park, uh, engaging one another at a park or playground. Nothing's more creative than that, I don't think. But they're playing in that point, and they're pure creativity, pure inspiration, pure challenge, pure effort. It's better when you're playing. You have all the coolest things going. You got your life together. You're the handsomest person, the funniest person. But can you really keep the interest and company of someone that you're attracted to around someone that can really play, that's comfortable at play, that enjoys play? Would you really hold your own around someone that enjoys play romantically, creatively, artistically? Would you hold your own around someone like that if they enjoy it and they approach it as play? So you take up lessons for a teacher, and this is some serious stuffy stuff. Like they're talking this is a very serious thing about playing it. About this is how serious someone is approaching playing something. This you can study this many things. How complicated and sophisticated. Now, instrument is beyond complicated, beyond sophisticated. That is magical. You start playing around with magic. You want to learn magic. How careful do you have to be not to hurt yourself with something that's sophisticated as magic? That's actually a good reason to leave magic alone, is because it would be that sophisticated and nuanced and perhaps subtle and detrimental if you were to mess up doing stuff like that. But it didn't have to be that, and it's more beautiful when it's simple and when it's real and organic. That's the real magic. But that's how magical life is and reality is. And I don't mean to sound arbitrary saying reality. And you experience that, you reveal some of that with the guitar. But it didn't have to be that serious. It could be play, and it could be more magical for play, and it could sound better and cooler for play, and be better for play. And you didn't need a teacher just to take your guitar outside and figure out something that sounds cool publicly and be looked at as a guitar player publicly and feel like a guitar player publicly and access some of the channels of confidence and skill by engaging it publicly. That would now allow you to be more creative and have more skill with it by the accountability and the perception of playing publicly. You didn't actually need a teacher for that. And it's the same thing with children in school. They presented learning so as fancy and sophisticated as guitar players are, as fancy and sophisticated as learning in school is, how much of horrible outcomes are potential some musical students, but then also students of these different educational venues, no less than public, private, and higher education. How horrible are the outcomes in the society that's a function of those outcomes, as serious as it's presented. So just let people have fun, man. Let kids have fun. Let adults have fun with guitars and instruments and whatever the hell they're interested in is better. Like